I never imagined that one sentence could unravel 13 years of my life. You expect tension in a relationship. Arguments. Rough patches. But this wasn't a rough patch. It was a full stop. A period at the end of everything I thought I knew. I'm James, 38. And for over a decade I did everything a man is taught to do. I paid the bills. Supported her dreams. Stayed up on the nights she couldn't sleep. I kept quiet when it hurt. And I convinced myself it meant something. That evening started like any other. I walked in from work, tie loose, mind still juggling deadlines. I smelled her perfume before I saw her. Claire was on the couch, legs crossed, scrolling her phone. A half-empty glass of wine sat on the table. Her posture was casual, but her face said everything. She had already made up her mind about me. I smiled gently. Hey, how was your day? She didn't even look up fully. Nothing, she said. Then smirked. You're a waste of my time. For a moment I froze. Those words didn't land like anger. They landed like clarity. I wanted to defend myself, to argue, to say something that would make her see me. But instead something inside me shifted. She wasn't going to change. She wasn't going to care. And everything I poured into this marriage would never be enough. I leaned against the doorway, years of silence and swallowed pain pressing down on me. 13 years of giving. 13 years of convincing myself that love could bridge every gap. But it couldn't. Not with someone who had already walked away emotionally. I walked over, picked up her wine glass and carried it to the sink. I could feel her eyes on me, waiting for the usual reactions. Anger, pleading, excuses. Instead, I gave her a small, calm smile. Great, I said softly. I'm done giving it to you. Her smirk faltered. Just a flicker, but enough to prove she didn't expect that. Most people beg. Most people fight. But I wasn't most people. Not anymore. I sat across from her, my voice steady. Do you even hear what you're saying? You've spent years brushing me off, dismissing everything I feel. I kept waiting for you to show me this marriage meant something to you. And it doesn't. Not to you. She opened her mouth, but I held up a hand. Don't. I've listened to every excuse. Every empty apology. I'm done. The silence that followed wasn't hopeful. It wasn't the kind that hints at reconciliation. It was the silence of something ending. Something irreversible. I felt sorrow, yes, but beneath it, a quiet, unexpected relief. Relief that I didn't have to chase her approval anymore. Relief that I could stop fighting a battle she never joined. I stood up, walked to the bedroom and packed a small bag. No slamming doors. No raised voice. Just a man reclaiming his dignity. She didn't stop me. She didn't even stand. As I walked out, I looked at her one last time. The smirk was gone, replaced by something else. Confusion, maybe even fear. I'm done, I said again, more to myself than to her. Outside, the cool evening air felt like freedom. For the first time in years, I could breathe without the weight of indifference pressing against my chest. I called my best friend Mark. His voice was warm, real. You okay? He asked. And for the first time I answered honestly. I'm free. By the time I reached his place, night had settled. He looked at me like he'd been waiting for this moment. We talked for hours, not about her but about me. About what came next. About the small victories in simply existing for myself. The next morning, clarity hit me like a sunrise. I went for a run, each footstep shaking off another memory of the man I had pretended to be for her. By the third day, I rented a small apartment downtown. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't impressive. But it was mine. I painted the walls light gray, put up my books, left room for new pieces of a life I was finally building for myself. Mutual friends reached out. Curious. Confused. Trying to explain her side. I ignored them all. This wasn't about winning. It wasn't about proving anything. It was about reclaiming my soul. Weeks later, I saw her at a small cafe. She stiffened when she saw me. I smiled politely and walked past. She called my name, but I didn't turn around. That's when I realized. Closure doesn't always come from confrontation. Sometimes it comes from simply living your truth, while the other person watches from a distance. That night, sitting on my balcony, city lights stretching out like possibilities, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. Not bitterness. Not anger. Peace. I thought about all the times I tried to win over someone who didn't want what I was offering. And instead of hurt, I felt gratitude for the clarity. Sometimes the hardest part isn't walking away. It's admitting you've been holding on to something that was never truly yours. But once you say the words, "I'm done giving it to you," and you mean them, life doesn't just move on. It opens up. I'm James. I walked away from someone who never truly saw me, and in doing so, I finally saw myself. No smirk, no comment, no person will ever make me feel invisible again.